FUT Champions Weekend League is underway, and in this video I'm going to be talking to you about how you can get some more wins so that you can get to the next rank, potentially secure gold, gold 3, gold 2, gold 1, and even potentially get into elite 3 and even more beyond that. So just before we get into the video, if you are new here, make sure that you do subscribe. I'm going to be making lots more videos just like this one, also talking to you about how to make coins, trading and investing, and also about the market, when the market's going to go up, when the market is going to go down, so you know the perfect times to sell your team. So getting straight into the video now, I do have kind of separate sections. So I have first things to make sure, of course, that you do have prepared, and also some other things that you should try, and then we will get into the gameplay of actually how to get more wins in FUT Champions. So the first thing, of course, first things to make sure that you do have before you get into FUT Champions Weekend League is to make sure that you have the perfect custom tactics for your team and play style. We all play differently, so of course you need to find the players that work with you. You cannot, of course, just try and look up a video and for me recommending you custom tactics and a formation, because we all play differently and we all have different types of players in our team as well. So one custom tactics is definitely not going to work for us all, so you definitely have to go out there, experiment maybe in division rivals to see, of course, which custom tactics and which formation is going to work best for you and the players that you do have in your team. And also, if you are struggling to do this a bit, maybe you're struggling with your team, you have problems with it, definitely check your player work rates. You might have, of course, the wrong work rates in the wrong position, so definitely take a look at that. I have seen that a little bit. And also, you do want to make sure that you have balanced team and a balanced formation as well. You don't just want to go for pace. I do see it very often, especially right at the start of the game. We see loads of players just going for cheap, fast plays, but the problem with that is usually right at the start, because they are quite cheap, you are going to kind of cut down, sacrifice your physical, the dribbling, and mainly the shooting of that card, and that's going to be very difficult because you can have a really fast team, but when you're coming up against good defenses now in FUT Champions, of course you still do need good finishing on these cards to actually make sure that you are going to be converting the opportunities into the goals. So also, of course, some other things to try is going to actually be now a bronze bench, and this is supposedly, of course, it's kind of like a theory, superstition. Some people do actually decide to do it. I do it as well myself, and the point of it is to actually lower your team rating, and this is so supposedly you come up against lower rated teams as well. So in my opinion, I haven't really faced too many hard teams, so potentially it could be because of this, but you can still allow yourself a few players on the bench, and that's actually another thing I'll definitely recommend. Have a strong bench, of course, mainly usually attackers, but also a midfield and possibly maybe a centre-back, of course, if you are worried of an injury or something like that, or maybe potentially even a red card. And it definitely helps a ton to have, of course, those full fitness players coming on in the second half, and even potentially extra time if you do get yourself in a bit of a difficult situation. So now, moving on now here, some other stuff is don't play with the commentator on. This is kind of going to be a controversial thing and also a personal thing. Personally, I actually like to play without the commentator on. It does get a bit frustrating. It kind of gets quite repetitive, and especially if you are losing, if you concede maybe kind of a few goals, of course, in a row, then the commentator can, of course, be very annoying, and it can frustrate you and even make you more angry. So some things I would suggest is maybe try these things, to maybe try in silence, try listening to music, or some people even say they listen to someone else playing FUT Champions, like a live stream, maybe a pro player, or just maybe your favorite YouTuber or something like that. And you can also play with the commentator on, maybe do this one weekend and see how your performance varies, write down the scores and see how your performance is actually going to be affected by this, because I think this is actually a very important thing that is most of the time quite ignored. And we can see in pro events as well, I do believe some players actually do like to listen with music on, and I do believe that others are just listening with commentators on, but this is definitely a huge thing. Definitely try this out for yourself, even though it might seem irrelevant. Also, something very important that is going to affect your gameplay and how you're actually playing, even though you might not notice and you might just think, of course, that it's you, that you're not playing good, and you might get frustrated and angry, is actually how the servers are doing, whether it's a good day on the servers or a bad day. So the first things that I would recommend to do is actually check around maybe on Twitter, see what other people are saying, whether they have good gameplay, whether they're not having good gameplay, and then try it out for yourself as well. If you are playing good, going on a win streak, that means, of course, that you are having good gameplay and that your servers are good. But if you start, maybe if you lose one game and you play another one, you lose that as well, start going on a losing streak, definitely take a break, come back maybe in an hour, or maybe even the next day. Saturday, Sunday is usually quieter. It is usually on Friday where we do see, of course, very busy servers, because that is the first day weekend league. Everyone's trying to play it, trying getting their games done, especially the pros, as soon as possible for the higher points. So another thing is going to be, obviously, make sure that you do use chemistry styles. That is going to be an important thing as well. And also make sure that you have fitness. Of course, your fitness is going to be quite good. I have heard now some people are not applying fitness because of a fitness glitch, but once that does get patched, you definitely want to make sure that your players do have good fitness. I usually apply a fitness card every single 2 games, of course, just a squad fitness, to make sure, of course, my team is fully ready up and has the most energy it can, because fitness is actually very important as well. And also take breaks if you are losing. This is a huge thing. It can be quite difficult, of course. Maybe you don't have too much time to play FUT Champions, but definitely just get up, maybe just walk around, just get a glass of water or something like that. Just a 2-minute break, especially if you get on a big losing streak. Then that's when you want to maybe think of turning off the game and maybe like watching some YouTube or Netflix or something like that. Get your mind off FIFA and then come back to it once you are, of course, have a fresh start, because those losses can actually get, of course, very repetitive, and if you do get into a losing streak, it can be very hard, of course, to get out of it when you are in the wrong mindset. Another very small thing that can, of course, just put all of your focus into the game is actually make sure that your kits are something opposite, that you can clearly, of course, tell the difference, which one's yours and which one is the opponent, because now, of course, you have in control of both kits. So I would just set up, of course, a black kit and then a yellow kit, as simple as that. I know that I'm going to be the black kit and the opponent is going to be in yellow, so it can be very easy. I just put all of my focus into the game, and of course passing could potentially be better as well, because you can clearly see which player is yours and which players are part of the opponent's team. So now moving on to the gameplay aspects, of course, what you should kind of do is, it does kind of like come within just basic things that you can, of course, look at, is just make sure that with your finishing you do pass around the box a bit more, and also use your midfield when attacking. You can kind of like pass back to the defense as well if you do need to sometimes. And also when defending, do not rush at the opponent. Don't charge all of your defenders at him, because you're going to see that you're going to be opening up runs for, of course, the opponent just to easily through ball to, and they're going to be able to finish it very easily. And do not worry about your goalkeeper too much, like kind of like which goalkeeper you have. Most of them are quite simple now, but a few that have been playing quite good are ter Stegen. I've seen ter Stegen is quite good, so kind of like you can maybe go for them, but I think mainly it's not going to matter on the goalkeeper too much. We haven't seen one that is kind of like extremely overpowered. And also one thing, of course, that I am going to close off this video with, just to recommend, is at the end of your games, go through the highlights, see how you've conceded the goals, see what you did wrong and how you can improve in the future. That is definitely going to be a thing in long term, mid term, how to actually improve. And just in the short term, definitely be patient. And a huge thing that I'm going to recommend is going to be that commentator on and off. You might think it's like a very small thing, but definitely try that out. And then most importantly, it is going to be actually when you start losing games, or if you're in the wrong mindset, then that is going to be very difficult. It is mainly all mindset. So if you go into the game all positive, thinking that you are going to win, that is definitely going to increase your chances a lot. Definitely good luck, guys. Let me know how your records are looking down below. And if you do need any other help, definitely comment down below. And you can also DM me on Twitter or Instagram. Show me your team. Maybe ask me for improvements. I'll definitely get back to you guys. Thank you guys for watching this video. I hope you guys enjoyed, and I will see you next time.